Hello everybody, welcome to the lab. I'm Jay Appell, and once again today we're going to revisit data loss prevention for the endpoint for McAfee 11.2. So we've upgraded our EPO server, which is at 5.10. You may have a version of 5. Of course, if you're on version 9.3, if you're way back then, all the way up to now, this is going to be a very similar process. And we'll introduce a couple of concepts to you that you may need to know if you've been trying to get this going. Now, what are we going to do today? We're going to show you how to block wireless devices, say for your portable assets, your laptops, but anything that's moving around with like a salesperson, we're going to actually attempt today to block wireless. Now, there will be a couple of situations where maybe you have folks that are leaving the office, they're hanging around coffee shops, you don't want them on wireless. This might be one way to make that all happen and force them into a VPN scenario where they're using the assets of the core and the corporation, if you will. And in front of us, we have the DLP policy manager. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new rule set, and we're going to stay consistent with my naming convention. I'm going to say dev control. I have naming conventions of my own, and the reason that I do that is they're pretty easy to follow. Now, they're not going to be all the fancy acronyms that McAfee has. I like to keep things nice and simple, so when somebody comes up and they look at it, they can make out what that particular rule might be doing. Now, if they're very complex, you may have to be using some acronyms. But in my case, device control, and I number everything, and this will be 004. And what are we going to do? We're going to block wireless. Great. The next piece now, we have that. It's right here. Block wireless. I'm going to click on that. And we're going to go to the device control tab. Down in the lower left, choose actions. New rule, plug and play device rule. And we're going to say, and enter here, wireless network adapters. And we're going to enable it. Plug and play. Little 3 buttons there. And you'll notice that I already have something created here to save us a little bit of time. I chose to create a new item and called it the wireless device definition. And if we look at it, you'll see in here that I have a device class that is equal to network adapters. Now notice here it says unmanaged, meaning if you look up here really in this small print, if you select device class properties that are unmanaged, you're going to have to go into the policy settings, and I'll show you how to do what we call an override. Now, this is an unmanaged asset. Normally, we don't manage our network adapters, but in this case, we do. And over here under the device friendly name, I'm very simply going to put wireless, or, and make sure this says or. You can go to and, but we're going to choose or. Equals to WLAN or equals to 802.11. Now, you can also say, or choose, if you will, mean what you say and say what you mean. Contains 802. You could do that too. So that's what we're going to do. Now, is there anything else we need? It's a Windows device, not a Mac. And we'll select Save. And then, of course, we're going to put a check mark next to Wireless Device Definition and choose OK. What's our reaction going to be? Let's do something that's in somebody's face. How about if we block it? Put a user notification up, and I have already created one once again. I will uncheck this box so we can see all of the things I've done. Wireless adapter. What does that look like? Anything? Wireless adapter detected. Your wireless has been disabled for your protection. And then we select preview here, and it will say wireless adapter detected, your wireless has been disabled. That's what they'll see if everything works. And now we'll choose save. And we will, of course, select the wireless adapter notification. So far, so good. Now over here, this is where it's going to get interesting. In our example here, I have a very hybrid environment. I have a very beefed up, souped up, configured custom laptop. And on it, I'm running VMware Workstation. And my VMware Workstation is running a domain controller, my EPO server, my SQL server, and I'm using my host as the example. What is going to happen here? Computer is disconnected from the corporate network. Now, in my test environment, it's on McAfee.edu. My laptop is on a work group. I have my McAfee agent working, but I'm going to choose here and you'll get the idea of us doing this, how this has to work. We're going to report the incident. Action. React the same way as if it were connected. That's if its computer is disconnected from the corporate network, or if you're not connected to the computer corporate network, we're going to choose block. That's what we're going to do. And once again, I will make something custom just because I want to see what it looks like. And we'll have a custom notification, not on corporate network. And down here, to keep it simple, not on the corporate network. Wireless disabled. Save. All right, uncheck here. Not on the corporate network. You can get real fancy with your notifications. And of course, I'm going to report the incident. If the computer is connected to the corporate network using VPN, we're going to react the same way as if it was connected with a wire onto the machine. And with that, my friends, we choose save. Rule must contain a plug-and-play condition for DLP Mac. Well, not if I uncheck Mac, it won't. Perfect. We only have one more thing left to do. I'm going to choose close. And then here's where the secret sauce is. I'm going to go over to the policy catalog. And up here in this DLP policy, I'm going to show you that I have a monitor policy and a block policy. You can do it differently the way you're doing it. I like to keep things nice and simple. There's a lot of chances for us to do complicated things later. Over here on the third tab from the left, we have settings. And remember we had that unmanaged scenario? We had the unmanaged network adapters. Well, in the device class, what you're going to do is you're going to take your wireless device. It's managed. It's an upper filter. What's a filter? I'll tell you in a second. And you're going to also place in here, because it was unmanaged, remember? I did this earlier, but I wanted to show you how I did this. You're going to choose network adapters. And you might remember that it was originally unmanaged by default. We're going to make it managed. Now, in terms of upper filters or lower filters, you could actually look at the device itself to determine. Now, it just so happens that we use an upper filter where we're going to load additional information. This is used by the operating system. Now, I have all my network stuff in here. Here's my wireless card. And when I click on it, I have all of the normal things. But what I would like to do is get additional information that might tell me about my upper filter or lower filter. What is it exactly? Well, under the details, I can choose very carefully. If I look for it, it will say class upper filters, and you'll see that it uses an upper filter. Otherwise, if it was like an X-ray device or some medical equipment, I've had a couple along the way where it's not what you think it is, and it's actually a lower filter driver. So we're on the right path here. And what we do is we add the network adapter along with the wireless communication devices that we did earlier. And to refresh your memory, you'd go over to wireless communication device. Now, we're done. Just wanted to show you how we did that. So make sure that you take the network adapters and you put that into place. Okay, back to this screen in the DLP Policy Manager. This was the wireless network adapter. You added the network adapter, upper filter. You made it managed. Remember, if it's unmanaged, we're not going to pay any attention to it. That's a very, very important step. So now, how do I do that? I'm going to click Close, go over to the rule set. We're looking at device control 004 block wireless. Go up to the policy assignment. And we're going to add that to our corporate monitor policy. Assign the rule set to a policy. That's what we're going to do. We'll choose the policy, which is monitor. Scroll to the bottom and choose device control 004 block wireless. There it is. Perfect. Now up here at the very top, it says pending changes. In our environment, I am only looking at the monitor policy. I want everything else to be monitored, but I do, in fact, want to test it out for my block wireless. Now, eventually, what it makes a total bunch of sense is to take my block wireless and put it under the block policy. I'm testing it right now. Okay. I'm going to choose actions, apply the selected policy, and it's done. And we're looking for 12. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up my wireless and change the adapter options. Now, what I'm specifically looking for here is to let you see that the Wi-Fi isn't on right now. All these different wireless. All right. So now what I'm going to do, what are you doing now, Jay? We're going to show you that I have this already working. I can select any of these. In fact, I'm going to connect to the wireless. So not only am I wired, I'm also have a wireless connection. We need version, what version? We need version 12. So in order to do that, I'm going to bring up the status monitor, check for new policies, and we should see that pop over to 12 shortly. Okay, so we just went to revision ID 12, and over here on the lower right-hand corner, not on the corporate network. So if I come down here to the lower right-hand corner, I have no more wireless. If I go to the network settings, you notice there's no Wi-Fi in here. I can't even go to airplane mode. The Wi-Fi is just gone. So no Wi-Fi for me. All right. Now you can see that this worked great. Now if we come over here and look at the status monitor, and I send events, you'll see I have a couple events that got sent to the EPO server. We're going to go over here to the DLP Incident Manager. Over here, I should have another incident here. Go to the incident list. There it is. Here's my device control 004. And so it's going to be very important when you're changing your rule set names and you're doing your testing to observe and expect what it is that you're testing. Now, the test block wireless is what I was doing last night. Showing you for this video is device control 004 block wireless. And you'll notice when I was over in the analytics tab, I have 1. If I go to the incident list, I may have something that's more up to date. So I'm going to choose number 2. It says it happened at 6:54 a.m. That's when it happened, because it is 7:14 a.m. What are you doing up that early? I have no idea. I'm doing a video. Now, over here, I have all the information that I could possibly need. Killer wireless adapter. You'll notice that I chose to put wireless contain. Remember the rule had contain, look for wireless. You may have to put other entries in there, but for the purpose of the example, you now see what would happen. Now, I could very easily go over here to my DLP policy manager, and to get my machine to want to behave and give me my wireless back, I will very simply go over to actions, apply a rule set to a policy, go back to the policy itself, and take it away. And when I do, I should get my wireless back. Fingers crossed. Now this is going to be version 13. Now I'm on the machine itself doing this. You can of course do an agent wake-up call and get your machine to pay attention to it that way if you're in the labs doing your own testing. There's 13. Now, if all is good in the world, I should be able to come down here, click, and guess what? My wireless is back. It's all coming in now. And there you go. That is a nice example of how to control wireless devices using the McAfee Data Loss Prevention endpoint product, version 11.2. But as I mentioned earlier, the older versions will behave in the very same way. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel. I'm Jay Appell. Have a terrific day.